Hey everyone, welcome back on the channel. Today we're talking about Alien Base, a decentralized exchange on the Base network or Base chain. ALB, its main token, is now worth over 30 cents of a dollar. It went up by over 4,000% only in the last year. So in this video, we will look at how to use Alien Base for yield farming in a practical way. We'll just simply focus on the ways to yield farm with it, generate passive income, and of course, how to use their native token ALB to make the most out of the platform. Quick heads up, this is not financial advice. I'm just a fan of Alien Base. I do hold some ALB tokens myself, so full disclaimer there. And the goal here with this video is to show you the different ways to invest in this platform. So let's get started. So on screen right now, these are the protocol rankings by TVL on Base network. And even though Alien Base isn't as well known as Aerodrome or Uniswap, you can see they are the two leading protocols. They are two DEXs, the biggest ones on Base network. And Alien Base is only on the 10th spot. So they are the third ranked DEX. And their TVL currently is over $75 million, which is very far away from what Uniswap has with over $500 million. But also, what I want you to take from this video is that they are not necessarily competing with those other two protocols, although they are all DEXs. Alien Base has a different idea, a different goal in mind, and they will evolve from being, let's call it a regular DEX, into a trading specific platform. So that's the ultimate end goal for Alien Base. They have been since launch going through, let's call it a metamorphosis of sorts. They are a continuously evolving and developing protocol, unlike, for example, what we see with Aerodrome and Uniswap. So Alien Base definitely has unique features and services on the Base chain. If you want to imagine, it's like Jupiter on Solana. It aims to offer a trading experience similar to centralized exchanges, but on-chain. And thanks to its continuous development, the price of ALB has seen massive gains for the most part since April of 2024. And if you think this is a good opportunity, of course, you can go and buy Alien Base on many markets. They are available on, but of course, you can always come to their DEX, Alien Base, the one and only, and buy some ALB yourself. That's going to be the easiest and simplest way to grab a bag, wait for the price to go up, and then take profits. But that's not what I'm going to show you on today's video. I'm going to show you how to yield farm with Alien Base. They let you make money through their liquidity pools. After all, they are a DEX. And if you want to be a liquidity provider, there's going to be fees to be made when people trade the token. And you can take the same approach and apply it in other markets, in other platforms, other decentralized exchanges that have these liquidity pools, but here with Alien Base's farms, you'll get to have the most out of it, because likely you'll get the best APRs here, and definitely the best incentives paid in ALB itself will be here. So these are the farms, we'll take a look at those in a second, but before staking in the farms, you need to deploy liquidity on the pools. For that, we'll click on the Explorer tab. It will show us the analytics of the platform, the trading pairs that are trending, the ones that have the highest liquidity, the ones that have the highest volume, pretty much all the main information you want to get to decide for yourself which will be the liquidity pools you want to take part on. From the Explorer tab, you can click on pools and it will give us information, detailed information on all of the available liquidity pools. Alright, so let's take a look at the dashboard, and I'll break down everything being displayed on screen for you. If there's something that you might still have doubts on, or you think I didn't explain all that well, let me know in the comments, I'll get back to you. So we have several pools here you can choose from. First one is a stable pair, then we have blue chips, Ethereum with CBBTC, the Coinbase derivative for Bitcoin. And there's many others, USDC with CBBTC, Ethereum again with CBBTC, Ethereum with the stablecoin. You get the idea, right? So all of these are liquidity pools. In each of them, and depending on what pool we're looking at, for example, the first one with stablecoins, we have 3 different vaults that make for the pool. One ultra narrow, and you also see it tagged with farm, so it shows us that if we then after depositing liquidity, we can go ahead onto the farms and stake the liquidity pool tokens we get after we deposit, because those tokens are a representation of a share of the pool, the part that you are entitled to, the part that will generate fees for you, and then you can take those LP tokens, stake on the farms, and get even further incentives on top of the fees being generated. Okay, so these three icons here, these three, let's call it sub pools, they call it vaults in the docs, and they call it vaults also because they are fully automated. That's the catch, so to say, here with Alien Base V3 liquidity pools. Usually on other protocols, when you have concentrated or V3 liquidity pools, you will be the one setting up your own ranges. But in here, these vaults already have predetermined ranges, and they explain it very well in the docs. I'm not going to go in full on depth about it on this video, but basically these are predetermined. So they already have some ranges set up. You can see this is ultra narrow, this is infinite, this is again ultra narrow. And the difference is that ultra narrow will have really high APRs, while the infinite doesn't really, this probably is not the best example to use because we're talking about stablecoins. But for example, let me search for something else here. For example, this one, wrapped Ethereum with CBBTC. So this has two vaults that make for the liquidity pool, overall the liquidity pool. So they have two different strategies operating in this liquidity pool. One which is narrow, so they have a narrow range, and there's an infinite, which means that regardless of where the price is, you will always be generating fees. And also that's what makes for the difference, because the narrow, as long as it is within range, this will generate way more fees than the infinite. That's the catch, so to say. If you go wider in your range, and you cannot go wider than infinite, this is and will always be generating you fees across the board, while the narrow, it's going to be going out of range more often potentially, and this will depend on how markets operate, how is the price of both Ethereum and Bitcoin going. Okay, you can also have here some other examples. You see these ultra narrow ones, they are out of range, because the narrower it is, the higher your fees will be, the higher your liquidity pool fees APR will be, and that's the upside. You'll generate more. The downside is that you'll be more exposed to going out of range and also to permanent loss. While on the infinite side, you will not be exposed to impermanent loss. You will be constantly on range generating fees, but on a lower amount, definitely much lower than compared with the ultra narrow, the narrow, and even the wide ones. Okay, so that's the main things you need to account for, and that's why there's different options within each liquidity pool. Also, you see here V3. For the most part, all these pools showcasing here are V3. There will be some others, for example, this one, ALB with wrapped Ethereum. This is a V2 one, and the V2 one is working much similarly to the infinite ones we just mentioned, because this is sort of, let's call it the old school way of providing liquidity. You don't set up ranges, and that's also why you only have the pool here, and there's not going to be different vaults for you to deposit in. Okay, also if they go out of range, which is the case for some of them, you will not be needing to do anything. You don't need to readjust or anything. The protocol handles the whole automating itself, so it's also going to be very passive in that end, while compared with other, for example, other DEXs like Uniswap or some others, you will need to readjust ranges or wait until the price goes back into your range to start generating fees again. Okay, so that's it for the most part. And you can also have, for example, here V3 0.075%. This is the fee. So whenever people come into this specific pool and they trade Ethereum for USDC, they pay a fee. This fee is where the rewards are coming, your LP fee rewards are coming from. Whenever people use the pool, they pay this fee, and then this fee will be distributed to liquidity pool shareholders, the people who deposited into the pool. Now, after that, we can discuss here volume. The higher the better, the more fees it will generate. Volume leads the whole thing. Volume for the past 7 days, this is a better grasp for you to take to see if the pool has been generating long term for the whole of the week, the last 7 days, a decent amount of volume, or if it has only just been spiking for the past 24 hours. You want pools that generate across the board, constantly generating fees, and not just having a spike here and there. You get the point, right? Then there's LP reward fees for the past 24 hours. So these are the fees that the liquidity pool generated. And notice that they are even broken down for each vault of the pool. So this is on total, and this is for each vault. If you sum all the vaults, it makes for the total, okay? Then we have LP rewards APR. This will be something that definitely will be volatile. It will change up. The LP rewards APR will be determined by the volume, of course, and for how much liquidity is there on the pool. And then you have these little icons of the ALB token. So this shows us that the first vault, this ultra narrow vault for the Euro USDC pool, is being incentivized with the extra ALB tokens. So if you want to grow your ALB bag, you definitely want to be involved in pools that have this sort of incentive. Not necessarily a stablecoin pair. Maybe you want to be involved on pools that have the ALB token paired with something else. For example, here with Wrapped Ethereum, and then they have even on top of the fees that you are getting rewarded by providing liquidity, you get to be incentivized with extra ALB tokens. And this also has a farm, so this will be one that if you are wanting to grow your ALB bag, definitely a great option. You earn ALB in different levels. First, when people trade these tokens, the tokens here in the pair, then you get the incentives for being a liquidity provider on this specific vault for this liquidity pool, and then you can stake your LP tokens in the farms and get even further incentives. So pretty much this is all the information being displayed on screen, things to look out for, and there's a ton of liquidity pools here, different fee tiers, different options if you want to go and stake on the farms or not, wide ranges, narrow, infinite, definitely a ton of options here. Now let's jump onto the farms and see what options do we have here. So it already pops out the first one, esALB. So this is the Escrowed version of the ALB token. If you go into their docs, they explain you all about it. But mainly, you need to hold ALB tokens and lock them. If you lock them, you'll get the Escrowed version of it. The difference is that this one is illiquid, so you cannot sell it on the market. You cannot transfer these tokens. These are tokens that are meant for users who want to make the most out of their rewards here on Alien Base. And you'll see that even though you might have some ALB tokens, unless you lock them, you cannot take part into these escrowed pools. And there's several of those, okay? The difference also is going to be that once you lock them, you'll get access to these pools that have a much higher APR, generally speaking, than the others where we're just considering the LB token itself. And if you click the information icon, you will see that the APR here is comprised of both ALB, so you're going to get paid as long as you deposit, you stake some Escrowed ALB tokens here, you get paid 19%, a little bit above that in ALB token. So not the Escrowed version, but native ALB, let's call it that, and also Wrapped Ethereum. So this is a pool that it allows you to get a part of the protocol revenue which is being generated. So definitely a very interesting pool for people who are bullish on Alien Base as a whole, as a platform. Then you'll have, for example, another Escrowed pair here. This one only pays ALB APRs of 140%, and it's much higher, for example, when compared with this one on the V2, which only pays ALB APR of 17%, and there's going to be others, for example, this one here, 117%. So to sum things up, if you lock your ALB tokens, it's very easy to do. You just need to go to your dashboard. You will see under your ALB holdings a button which says lock. You click it, then it becomes locked. You can unlock it later on with two different mechanisms. You can have it unlocked after 30 days, 100% unlocked, no penalty, or you can have it slowly unlocking 1% every 12 hours, which makes up for 2% a day. You'll see that also usually the hot pools, the one that have the fire icon here, they will have the highest multiplier, meaning that there will be incentives directed for these pools specifically and on the high end. That's also one of the benefits of being an Escrowed ALB holder. You get to take part in the decision-making process of the platform. While if you are just a ALB holder, you get to enjoy some benefits, of course, staking into the pools, to the farms, but you don't get any voting power and don't get to interfere in the decision-making process. Again, just to take note that the specific farm you're looking at, you can only deploy in it if you are already a depositor into the liquidity pool itself. Then you get those LP tokens and you can take them here onto the farms, stake them in each farm and get some extra rewards on top of it, okay? And basically this is how you yield farm on Alien Base. Again, guys, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'll get back to you. This is the practical guide on how to yield farm on Alien Base. They do have other services, but I'll save that for another video. I just wanted to make this one specifically about yield farming on the platform. I will do other content, other videos on how to DCA, also others diving into their docs, highlighting the fundamentals. So that's another reason for you to like and subscribe, because you don't want to miss those. If you want to learn more about yield farming, I have a lot of free content here on the channel that will help you even as a complete beginner. Again, check the related content, which is available in the description. And if you want to join a community of yield farmers that can help you even with one-on-one coaching, make sure to check out the link in the description for the Underdog Investor Group from Crypto Labs. I am affiliated with them, and by using my link, it will get you 20% off on your first month. That being said, thank you for watching, like and subscribe if you found value in the video, and I'll see you on the next one.